Okay, so it's been about 2,500 hours, 14 weeks and 5 days since I've done this, but let's give it a shot. Hey there, welcome back to True North Reviews. My name is Ryan, and today we are doing an episode of Hot and Cold. It's been a while, and yeah, this is the first one of 2020. So I will be honest, I have missed this series as much as it was very time-consuming in the past. That's kind of why I gave it up, plus school on top of that being really challenging. Just thinking about how much music I was listening to in the past year with albums, singles, all that kind of stuff. Put on top of that all the writing, the editing, the thumbnails. It was just an endless cycle, and I never really saw the light of day. But here I am. I'm bringing this series back. I don't know if you guys really want this. Be sure to let me know if you want to see more of these in the future. For me, though, why I'm returning, I obviously have more time on my hands. School is essentially wrapping up at this point, and I just feel like I'm in a better position to review albums that I talk about on this channel if I listen to the singles that come out beforehand and talk about them. So yeah, if you're new to this series, welcome aboard. If you've been here for the ride in the past, thanks for rejoining. I will try my best to keep up with this series. Hot and Cold, just as a reminder, because it will take me a little bit to get back into the swing of things, is a video series I like to talk about the best and worst songs over the past week. The hot being the best, the worst being the cold, and some middle-of-the-road tracks as well. This specific episode will be talking about songs released between March 29th and April 4th, 2020. And yeah, if you have suggestions for future episodes, hit me up. Diving into the hot tracks though, first up we have a brand new single from Hayley Williams. This one is entitled Over Yet. Man, the chorus is a breath of fresh air on this one. It's so entrancing, so beautiful. It's reminiscent of some Stevie Nicks, her kind of stuff from the 80s. The verses sound pretty different from what Hayley Williams has been putting out, especially with her Pedal for Armor songs this year. I like it. Moving on from there, we have a couple new songs from Frank Ocean, Dear April and Cayendo. A couple acoustic tunes leaked last week, and now we finally have the streaming versions of both of them. Dear April is closer to being a finished product despite the abrupt ending. I definitely appreciate its more complete arrangement and the Bon Iver-inspired vocal manipulations towards the back half. Cayendo, on the other hand, has this Spanish mix with English on the lyrics. It's a really raw cut. It sounds really up close and intimate. We have a nice layering of vocals, one that is really up close, and then the other one is drenched in a little bit more of reverb. On Cayendo, we have this minimal instrumentation as well. Frank is spilling out his guts emotionally. Even the guitar solo at the end of this track is pretty. But yeah, I'm enjoying both tracks from Frank this week. Next up, we have Billy Talent with I Beg to Differ, This Will Get Better. This is much better than the last single that Billy Talent put out. I thought the last one sounded like a rehash of their song Devil in a Midnight Mass. Everything about this track, though, is screaming classic Billy Talent. The gritty guitars down to the shouted vocals, a pretty strong hook. I also admire the uplifting and optimistic lyrics about pushing through hard times. Great message. Pay For It by July Talk is the next song I will mention here. It's the first one from the band since 2016. I already did a track review of this. If you want to check that out for more detail, be sure to do so. But just know that I appreciate this track's laid back kind of nature. The lyrics are the part I'm most head over heels for, just vivid and succinct, hard-hitting emotionally. Hopefully the next single will include the other vocalist, Peter, because yeah, I'm really looking forward to this new record. Another Canadian artist to highlight this past week with a hot track is Summertime by Orville Peck. I'm a first-time listener to this country alternative crossover act. He's got the voice of, I'm thinking, Elvis mixed with Johnny Cash. Aesthetically, he's got the anonymity going for him too with the fringed Lone Ranger mask. The track Summertime kicks into full gear halfway through. It's got a great vocal performance, rich and gorgeous. I also love the use of banjo and the slide guitar. A lot of things to praise with this song, and I'm looking forward to the future for what Orville Peck can give us. Troye Sivan is making a big splash this week with his latest, Take Yourself Home. He's been making the rounds, making a feature here and there. I loved what he brought to the track by Ali X with Love Me Wrong. This time he's back with his own song, and it's another personal entry. For me though, the final minute is the true jaw-dropping moment. I don't want to spoil it for you, Just know that the synthesized kind of elements that were teased throughout the track, they finally get their chance to shine. Find My Way by DaBaby, that is the next song here. I love the 808s on this track. DaBaby, he sounds pretty monotone at points of the verses, especially the first one, but the hook, it is full of energy, and I like what he does with a few of the vocal risks that he takes. I'm kind of torn on this one right now, but I feel like it will grow on me with multiple listens. I am still confident to be putting it on the hot tracks this week, though, relatively compared to what some of the other songs we get. Another hot track is by Grouplove. It's called Deleter. It's the acoustic version, as we already had Deleter put out as an album version. On the acoustic cut, we get different vocal harmonies. The female vocals certainly have more presence on this version. Pianos, the synthesizers, the guitar, they build a lot of suspense, and there was a bit of a lack in release of that. I would have liked to see drums added on the final leg. So yeah, I definitely prefer the original version over this. It's still one of my favorite songs, so there was a large room for error on this acoustic cut over here. Wrapping up the hot tracks this week, we have The Weeknd. He returned with 3 new songs. One lands on the hot tracks this week with Nothing Compares. This is on the deluxe version of After Hours. I also did a review of all of these 3 songs, so I'm just gonna mention that they are here. Moving on to the middle of the road tracks this week, these are okay songs, not the best, not the worst. Continuing with The Weeknd, we have Missed You and final Lullaby. Again, both of those are talked about at length in another video. I'll have it on the screen here if you want to check it out, but yeah, know that they're okay. They definitely add to the thematic kind of sense of the album, but as individual songs, they're okay. Talking about other okay songs, we have the new single from Drake, 2C Slide. This is a low-key and relaxed performance from Drake, pretty apathetic, and it will drive the Drake haters up the wall. They will be fed up with this, as he's been doing this kind of laid-back delivery for the past couple years at least. Honestly, I'm fine with the delivery. I just wish the beat could have had a bit more bite to it, just something more interesting to fill the empty space. As for positives, I do love the melody and the lines about sliding and dancing like Michael Jackson. Obviously, Drake is trying to reignite a dance craze on this track, similar to like what he did on In My Feelings. This time he'll have to do it from the comfort of his own home as he is dancing in his music video. To be frank, this song is more respectable than a majority of what's on Scorpion, but it's not as exciting of a lead single if that's what Drake is intending for this to be on a new album. It evens out. It's an okay song. Of course, when we're speaking about Drake, we typically bring up Future because he's a frequent collaborator with him. He's put out a new track this past week. It's entitled Tycoon. Better Than Life Is Good, which had Drake on as a feature earlier this year. It's still not worth being on an album though here with this new track Tycoon. I hope whatever we get from Future in the future he'll just bring things together, kind of put out a standout single soon. Moving on from there, the 1975 put out their latest single, which is called Jesus Christ 2005 God Bless America. Weird name for a song, just like many of the other songs on this album and what will be coming out. This one in particular, though, features Phoebe Bridgers. She's got a verse on here. She contributes some backing vocals. The guitar strumming is stagnant throughout the entire track. We do switch things up with the tinge of ethereal production. We have faint horns in one leg of the track. They kind of show up here and there with the interludes, but outside of that, this is pretty one-dimensional as a song. It is pretty, though. It is also introspective as a song, too. I've just heard better from the 1975 in the past. I'm thinking of, like, Be My Mistake or She Lays Down. 2 of the more compelling, softer, and slower songs in their discography, in my opinion. As for news about the 1975, they've put another delay on their upcoming LP, Notes. We'll see how many more pretentious singles they put out in the meantime. I'm kidding, but there kind of is a truth to that. Right now, though, I feel like we're getting a decent batch of singles from them. A couple have been standouts. I really love People and Me and You Together song. The others are just Next up, I Choose by Alessia Cara. This is a soundtrack single from the new Netflix original film that will be coming out this month, I mean. For this tune, I like the bombastic drums in the bridge. The tune is pretty. I'm just not the biggest fan of the trap hi-hats. They feel like they were just tagged on here just to make it palatable for the mainstream kind of pop audience. And yeah, that's everything for the middle of the road. We're going to wrap up this week's episode with the cold tracks, which are by far the worst that I heard. First up, we have Tory Lanez with Who Needs Love, a standard trap beat with a bit of a Latin influence. We get okay vocals from Tory, but my god, the struggle bars on here are real. Tory is telling all his exes to kiss his necklace and just bragging about cars. I'm not really into that, at least with Tory's music. And lastly, this week we have Breaking Up Was Easy in the 90s by Sam Hunt. The tune of the song was pretty good, I will admit that. I like the guitar too. I just can't stand the lyrics, and I can't stand the vocal performance on this. Everything sounds so forced. The rhymes leave me just like wanting to puke. They're so basic. Still not the most manipulative from Sam Hunt. I know he's had other songs that have kind of drove me crazier, but yeah, this new one, not cutting it. So yeah, that is hot and cold for this week. I'd love if you guys sound off down below in the comments. Let me know if you want this series to make a full comeback, what you think of these songs as well. Thanks for watching. I appreciate your support. Leave a like, subscribe if you're new in town. I'd appreciate that. And as always, have a rockin' day.